Totally get that. I think that Russell Westbrook, what he's done, if you want to make a case for Russell Westbrook, here's the case that you ultimately make. And I said this on Mike and Mike earlier this morning. The man goes 100 miles an hour all the time. You have, to me, the greatest tribute and the greatest testament to Russell Westbrook should be he never cheats us. Every time he shows up to the arena, every night, he gives you the same effort. I have never watched Russell Westbrook and felt like there was a shortage of effort at any moment in his entire career. He's always going at it. And I don't blame anybody for thinking that way. I'm just looking at Harden and what I've seen throughout this entire season. And I'm looking at a better efficiency from, shooting, a better efficiency in a variety of ways. And I just look at it from the perspective that, again, they're a better team. And I think that when we walked into this season, we said Oakland is San Antonio, it's Golden State, and maybe the Clippers, and then everybody else didn't matter. It was a crapshoot. And suddenly, Houston elevated to the point where they were challenging the top 2 seeds. And I look at it from that perspective, and I say, look, this is a top 3 seed in the Western Conference. There's no way in hell they're even a playoff team without James Harden. And with 29, 11, and 8, damn near triple-double himself. And what he's been able to do this year, yes, Russell Westbrook has come on strong in the latter part. 7 straight triple-doubles. I mean, you can't ignore that. Tying Oscar Robinson's record, you can't ignore that. That's why I can't take it from Harden. But I don't have to take it from Harden.
Harden shoots a lot of threes, right?
Okay.
But not so many that the Rockets should be shattering three-point attempts and three-point made records, right? I mean, it's not just Harden. It's that the team is constructed by Daryl Morey, who did a great job, and run by Mike D'Antoni in such a way, with Harden as D'Antoni's muse, no doubt about it, and Harden was already a terrific player, but in such a way that they're playing Mike D'Antoni basketball and the entire team is jacking up threes all the time. And they're hitting them at such a rate, largely because of Harden's presence, yes, but also because of the way they're constructed, that they have the record they do. Westbrook's team is not designed the same way, and yet Westbrook has them within spitting distance of the Rockets. They're not going to challenge the Rockets for a similar record, but 8 games different, something like that, in spite of the fact that Harden's team is constructed much better around him than Westbrook's is around him.
You know where I'll give you a lot of love, Max? You're one of those people who believes we should wait until they do the voting. Do you know if the players were to begin today who plays in the first round? It would be Oklahoma City versus Houston.
So good.
It would be lovely if we had to wait until that series unfolded to see who's the MVP,
question.
But I understand you can't do that because it's a regular season award, but I
we might want revisionist history.
It wouldn't bother me.
You talk about the effort that Russell Westbrook gives, and this is not criticism. I suppose it's criticism, but it's not meant to be negative. I love Westbrook, as I've said. He's my favorite player to watch, unbridled aggression. In fact, if he were to take the edge off the fastball sometimes, if he didn't just always go at everyone with a 100-mile-an-hour heater, he would somehow, I think, be even better, because I mentioned it the other day. Steven Adams, it seems, who's a very good player, but can't handle 1 or 2 would-be dimes a game because Westbrook is throwing it like a quarterback that has that incredible arm and sometimes is throwing too hard for the receivers at too near a distance. I mean, Westbrook, I think, it could get to an even greater level somehow if he could vary his speed a little bit, slow down for his teammates around him who sometimes can't keep up with him. Nevertheless, he is the MVP this year.
I'm with you 100%. But we got to keep it moving, gentlemen. It's going down in Beantown, and you know this one counts because Stephen A. Smith will be in the building. The Celtics are hosting the Cavs tonight. The 2 teams are tied for first in the East. A lot is on the line. I also want to mention that Tristan Thompson will not be making the trip to Boston. He's getting an MRI on his thumb today. But according to King James, it's not that serious.
They're going to have a lot of energy. The crowd is going to be great. It's a very good team we're playing against tomorrow. We know that. Not taking nothing from them. They've been playing some great ball. But like I said, I'm not one to get caught up in regular season, big games or not. I'm sorry. I've been to 6 straight finals, man. I'm the last person to ask about a regular season game, dude. Sorry.
Max?
Yeah.
How important is tonight's game?
Huge for the fans. I mean, we all know what we're going to be doing tonight.
I'm excited.
Of course.
Yeah.
Cleveland going to Boston. I mean, for first place on the line in the East.
Sure.
Isaiah Thomas. And then, of course, we're psyched. For Boston, it's a big game because here is a test you know, approaching the playoffs. And, by the way, I'm sure they'd love home court if it comes down to them and the Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals. But LeBron is telling the truth. LeBron has been to 6 straight finals, and he's been to 7 finals overall. And his entire MO all season and all playoffs is the finals. Even last year, let's put it to give it some context, some perspective. Last season, I am sure of this, I saw LeBron sacrifice a playoff game, forget about a regular season game, against the Raptors, a dangerous playoff team, in the service of getting his crew ready for the finals. I saw him, I mean, you could see it. He's thinking he has to get Kevin Love going. He needs Kevin Love to win the finals, and did everything in his power to get him going against the Raptors, and Love actually didn't get going, and they wound up losing the game, and LeBron had to go to a plan B and close out the Raptors the next night. So I've seen LeBron treat a playoff game like a test case. How can I get this together for the finals? Obviously, a regular season game, he's telling the truth. He's thinking about the finals at all times.
Let me tell you something. We can sit here, and on many, many occasions, we find ourselves talking about LeBron James. We're talking about LeBron James, and he makes news. He's the king. He's the reigning, defending NBA champion. He's a 3-time champion, et cetera, et cetera. I've said this on many occasions, and I'll say it again. When he makes news, we have to discuss it. But be clear, LeBron James has graduated from the standard of needing to be judged by what transpires in the regular season. He has proven time and time and time again that he is the one player in the NBA that the regular season should not matter to in terms of judging him. Now, obviously, that isn't applicable to everybody on the Cavaliers, okay? Damn it, it's got to matter to Kevin Love. It needs to still matter to Kyrie Irving. He's young. It needs to matter to a bevy of other players. Damn sure J.R. Smith, Amon Shumpert, and various others. But it doesn't need to matter to LeBron James. So when a reporter goes up to LeBron James and asks him directly what the hell a regular season game means, no. Don't expect him to tell you it means much. And by the way, don't expect it to actually mean much to him. Because no matter what happens tonight, that's going to have zero impact on the LeBron James is going to show up if they meet in the postseason. And at the rate they're going right now, they'd be the top 2 seeds in the Eastern Conference, which means they wouldn't see each other until the Eastern Conference Finals. LeBron has earned that right. However, the same cannot be said for the Boston Celtics. This game means a hell of a lot to them. Because let me tell you something right now. If the Boston Celtics are going to have a chance at supplanting the Cleveland Cavaliers and advancing to the NBA Finals, they had damn well better get that #1 seed. They had damn well better make sure that a potential Game 7 is at TD Bank Garden in Boston. They had damn sure better make sure they don't have to go to Cleveland. I promise you, they will regret that. And not only with Cleveland, Boston might have a problem with Washington. Because remember, I believe Washington's going to the conference finals. I believe Washington could take Boston. That's how I feel. Because I think
You've been on them all year, yeah.
Listen, I got that kind of belief in John Wall.
Better hope the conference finals ain't Washington, Toronto.
No,
I'm just saying.
Don't wish that on me. Don't wish that on me, because I'm going to be covering the Eastern Conference Finals. Don't do that to me. I don't deserve that, okay? I don't want to have to go. I don't have the global whatever the hell
You
it
don't
is.
like
I got
Toronto?
TSA.
You don't have global re-entry?
Toronto's great.
Toronto's
great.
Better get that.
A lovely city.
It is.
But
It's like
getting there
I
is
get it, going through
problematic.
customs,
So
yeah.
they're going through customs. I don't want to deal with that. My point to you is this. Boston has a lot to worry about if they don't get the #1 seed, and winning tonight will go a long way towards that. Cleveland has close to nothing to worry about. And I'm going to say that again, close to nothing to worry about.
LeBron,
in the East.
you know, a reporter comes up to LeBron. You're right. He is being judged by a different standard than everyone else. It's like puny humans. I don't get regular season game. I get judged in the playoffs. That's true. But Boston, it is important. It's important for them. And by the way, Cleveland can lose, and that's still okay. Boston loses when they're amped up at home fighting for that #1 seed. It's less okay. Either way, though, Stephen A., Cleveland, and Boston's in the same boat, is going to have to face 2 of the following 3 teams in these playoffs if they want to get out of the East: Washington, Toronto, Boston. 2 of those 3 teams you're going to have to play, and same thing for Boston: Cleveland, Washington, Toronto. So for Cleveland, it doesn't much matter. Home court is less important to them, as you pointed out, and you're going to have to face 2 of those tough teams out of the East anyway, whether you're first or second.
One of the things that I continuously have said to people, when you're talking about the top seed, you're talking about home court advantage. And why that really matters to you is because of a potential Game 7. First of all, you don't know if you're going to get to a Game 7 against LeBron. That's number one. Number two, and more importantly, when it comes to the East, let's be clear, we're not engaging in conspiracy theories or anything like that, but covering the NBA for over 20-plus years as I have, here's the reality. In a Game 7, officials matter.
Yes.
They have an impact. Does anyone really believe that LeBron James is not going to get favorable treatment in a Game 7? Because I'm here to tell you, you're smoking something if you think otherwise. Right. LeBron James is LeBron James. He is box office. And at the end of the day, what they want, listen, it's been, listen, first of all, it's been good for ABC. It's been good for ABC, ESPN. Let me tell you something right now. When LeBron James is in the finals, it certainly doesn't hurt. When at TNT, it doesn't hurt. Ernie Johnson's going to be under the great.
Everyone knows referee whistles towards superstars have huge impact on playoff games.
It's automatic. Now, if there was another preeminent star in the Eastern Conference, you'd have me. But there isn't. Not somebody with body. Let's say, for example, if Kevin Durant had decided to go to Miami instead of Golden State, and Miami played LeBron and the Cavs in the conference finals. Now you're on to something.
Isaiah's not going to get the same whistle as LeBron
Isaiah's not going to get the same
John
whistle.
Wall's not going to get the same.
John Wall's not going to get the same.
No,
Serge
Kyle
Ibaka,
Lowry, if he's
Kyle
there,
Lowry,
right, yeah.
DeMar DeRozan. They're not getting the same. They're not getting the same cachet.
And by the way,
same treatment.
who says it even comes down to a Game 7? Atlanta had a 60-win season a couple of years ago, faces LeBron in the playoffs, and gets swept.
I never cared
Atlanta was in first place.
I never cared about that 60-win season from Atlanta. I knew they weren't good enough to beat the Cavs. I thought they would win one game that series.
No, well, they got swept.
And they got swept.
That game is going to be on ESPN as a part of our Wednesday NBA doubleheader. We're looking forward to that. Cavs Celtics for first.